Professional wrestling star Darby Allin recently revealed a remarkably candid comment about his high-altitude adventure and the business perspective behind it. According to Allin, AEW President Tony Khan was super stoked that Allin made it to the summit of Mount Everest, because it would have been really bad for PR if he died. In this article we'll explore the backstory of Allin's expedition, his working relationship with AEW, the underlying implications of his remark about PR, and what this might mean both for his career and AEW's brand. Darby Allin, real name Samuel Ratch, is a high-risk, daredevil-style pro wrestler signed to AEW. He has long been known for his skateboarding influence, extreme stunts inside the ring and a persona fueled by defying danger and death-defying moments. Allin announced his intention to climb Mount Everest as part of his personal ambitions, not just a wrestling storyline. He described the climb as a way to test himself beyond the ring, where the stakes are real and the margin for error vanishes. In his words, "Greater than, I know that sounds generic, but honestly, someone else controls how far or how well you're going to make it in wrestling. You can't politic your way up that mountain. And, if I say I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it. So, when I said I was going to bring the AEW flag on top of the world, I would die on that mountain before I turned back." In a recent interview, Allin addressed the role of AEW's chief, Tony Khan, in permitting and supporting his climb. He offered a very unusually frank statement. "Greater than, I think he was super stoked that I made it to the summit, because it would have been really bad for PR." Super stoked implies Khan was relieved, glad and perhaps a bit nervous about the outcome. Really bad for PR acknowledges the risk. If Allin had died on Everest, AEW and Khan personally could face backlash, negative media coverage, serious brand consequences. This statement places the climb not only in personal terms for Allin but as part of AEW's risk management calculus, a real-life extreme stunt with business implications. For Allin, the remark underscores the extreme lengths Allin is willing to go for his craft, persona and legacy. It also shows that beyond the ring, he is engaging in real risk that transcends scripted matches. This kind of authenticity can raise his stock, but it also adds personal exposure and danger, and AEW is aware of the stakes. With his recent climb behind him, Allin may leverage the momentum. He returns to the ring with deeper credibility and a refreshed narrative. AEW gains a unique marketing angle. One of its stars climbed Everest, planted the flag, and returned to the ring. That kind of crossover between real-life adventure and pro wrestling storytelling is rare. Yet the "bad for PR" line shows AEW doesn't treat this lightly. The brand must balance spectacle with safeguarding talent. It also highlights how AEW's executives are increasingly aware of off-ring activities' effects on brand, liability, image and media narratives. In wrestling, performers often blur the line between stunt work and real danger. However, climbing Everest is literal life and death territory, not just a ladder bump spot in a ring. Allin's frank statement brings the business side of wrestling into focus. If our guy dies on Everest, that's a real negative headline, not a storyline. It shows how wrestling promotions must manage risk not just inside the ring but in what their talent is externally. This may reflect a larger trend: wrestling stars branching out into extreme endeavors, documenting them, using them for brand. But promotion management must sanction, plan, and ensure accordingly. Some may argue, if Allin is willing to put himself at such risk, are his passions aligned primarily with his own profile rather than the promotion's welfare? Others may ask, did AEW endorse this expedition purely for marketing noise, or was it genuinely supported athlete welfare-wise? The "bad for PR" line is self-aware but might also open questions about promotions prioritizing spectacle over safety. Also, while Allin's adventure is stellar, the fact remains wrestling has many dangers already. Some may say adding mountaineering is over the top or distractive. We can expect AEW to incorporate the Everest story into Allin's ongoing narrative, either in promos, visuals, or as part of his comeback. Allin may use his climb to shift his character, from daredevil high flyer to a man who conquered Everest, raising expectations for his next moves. AEW's approach may set a template for other talents looking to carry super personal achievements into wrestling stories, with the promotion's blessing. Wrestling audiences may increasingly expect talent to bring real-life accomplishments into their personas. The line delivered by Darby Allin, that AEW President Tony Khan was super stoked he made the summit because otherwise it would have been really bad for PR, is more than a throwaway quip. It reveals the overlapping worlds of real-life risk, personal ambition, and brand management in the modern pro wrestling business. It adds a compelling layer to Allin's persona. Yes, he's the extreme athlete inside the ring, but he took that same mentality to the Himalayas. And for AEW, backing that move shows ambition and risk tolerance, but also a clear awareness of the stakes. For viewers, fans and media, the story is gold. It's extreme sports meets wrestling, and behind the scenes, there's serious brand calculation. Whether this becomes a long-term narrative arc, how Allin pays it off in the ring, and how AEW uses it in its storytelling remains to be seen. But one thing is clear: when you hear, "It would have been really bad for PR," you've got a flash of the business side reality underlying the spectacle.